To be fair, I don't know who Emily Mariko is. She came across my For You page by way of another creator who was, I guess, ranting about this girl's wealth and her, privileged lifestyle, going to Stanford, having money, and coming from generational wealth. Maybe I should go check out who this TikToker, Instagram person is to see what people are getting all fussed about. And I found out that this woman is simply a young girl that came from a, wealthy family, went viral for this dish right here, which is just simply rice, salmon, a piece of avocado, and some kimchi. While this woman has gotten many articles and features in magazines, they're simply utilizing what they've been given. They've been given luxury and they're trying to sell it to you. And the problem is that you guys buy it. So the American dream is to have money, having some prestige, having a home, having a nice car, being able to travel. And these people have that already. But what they've capitalized on is your inability to have that. And for you to want to aspire to be like them. And so I noticed that the comments are like, Emily Marika, 100% does not clean. She has a maid. She will also have 100% have a nanny when her child is born. A lot of the rich specifically become food influencers too, which is interesting considering the historical relationship between food, status, and wealth. That you really need to educate yourself on wealth building, because if you're worrying about what these people have and realizing that, looking at it as it's unattainable, you're never going to get there. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I see so many young people with having a lot of mental health issues, a lot of depression, anxiety. They feel like they can't compare with some of these rich kids that have everything handed to them on a silver platter. These people, they're not unattainable, they're unrealistic. Her bag that she's selling for over $100 is a $10 tote, probably manufactured for $5. I will never understand the obsession you guys have with these lifestyle influencers. They have the access to the wealth, but believe me when I tell you their life is jacked up. I feel a lot of the younger generation, primarily Generation Z and Generation Alpha coming up, are not going to be able to be given the luxury of even having offsprings because they're facing rising living costs, high interest rates, unstable employment access. All of this fuels the generational wealth gap, limiting economic mobility, reinforcing social inequalities over time. The same social inequalities that all the governments of the world say, we put in all these DEI things for you guys because we really want to see you guys get ahead. Bullshit. They don't. They want you to be satisfied with nothing. The internet will have false information, in my opinion. Like Vox saying that finding the best way to do good. If you earn $60,000 a year after tax and you don't have kids, you are in the richest 1% of the world's population. Emily Mariko's parents are likely baby boomers. Boomers, just so you guys know, hold a significant portion of wealth compared to other groups. They hold 77.11 trillion, or 52.8% of America's wealth. Millennials only hold 5.7%, totaling about 8.34 trillion. Obviously, these stats are from probably last year, so don't quote me on this, but you can look this up. I was taught you don't need to rock anybody else's name but your own. You will never see billionaires and millionaires worrying about a label or a brand. That is for you, the poor. You will never see them rocking other people's names unless they're being paid or given that stuff for free. You need to improve access to education, healthcare, home ownership, and wealth building opportunities if you want to see this wealth gap close. Guys that are younger, you have the opportunity now to make better informed financial decisions. We had to rely on other people and their testimony of what worked for them and the tools that worked for them so that we had a future. You guys have access to so much stuff online. Take full advantage of it. Another thing I would tell people is to start teaching your children early. My mom and dad in the 80s, they had tapes that they listened to, like Hopkins International. They sold Primerica on the side of their regular job of being a CPA and an engineer. My parents taught us financial literacy. It's an important part of, keeping generational wealth going with your children. Teach them about budgeting, retirement, not having to fit in with the Joneses. You will save because in the end, saving means you have more to invest, especially if you're starting at the very bottom and you don't have anything. Create dialogue, right? Discussing these types of things, how to use tools out there like technology to make money. Most importantly, the last thing I want to mention to you guys, I feel like we're going to get to a point in society where there's not any wealth left over for anyone. It's just going to be the top 1%, and everybody else is going to be at the bottom. Because right now we're dealing with a society where the people that are in charge, in my opinion, are full-blown clowns. Sorry to say it. Everyone who's been running the Federal Reserve, people at the top of all of the administrative departments of our government are clowns. And it brings me to the fact that the generation that we grew up with, and I was so blessed to grow up with, the 80s, the 90s, under Reagan, even under Clinton. It's crazy to say that. And if you go back and you watch tape of a lot of the philosophies of even Biden, you would understand that something has shifted, something has changed, and it's gone drastically left to the point where it's actually, I consider it extremism.